velocity fluctuation, these are all errors, so the higher the number, the worse it is. I'll just go back to my colour setting. So I choose good, as in a positive run, or positive number, a good number, to be green, and neutral yellow, and bad is in red. So the velocity fluctuation error is if the horse has got lots of spikes in velocity, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's most useful in jumps races. So if the horse has jumped badly and lost a lot of velocity and then had to run fast to catch up to the next horse, then it will have a high velocity fluctuation. And a low velocity fluctuation, it could technically have a zero velocity fluctuation if it ran perfectly smoothly all the time, but of course that doesn't happen. Velocity error is how off par it is. So if the horse ran exactly on the green line, it would be zero, and if it's up and down and up and down and up and down, then it receives a higher velocity error. And cadence is the same. It's the cadence, it's how far off cadence, off par the horse has been running. There is no cadence graph yet. There will be at some point in the future. Now, they're all measured against each other, so against the other runners in the race. So the errors are relative to each other, which means that the numbers are familiar race to race, and they're all centered around 100. So it's a bit like the old IQ test where the average is 100. So the exact average in the race is 100. Other than and if it's higher, it's a bad error, and if it's lower, it's a good error. Does that make any sense, Alan?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So these are sort of taking into account the velocity and the jumping and the pars and the for velocity and cadence, and then trying to boil them down into 3 easy to look at metrics, that the importance of which, just to answer the question that's come in, does depend on the length of the race, and it depends on the type of race. So a jumps race for me is VF, then VE, then CE. The shorter, flatter races, it will be the other way around. VF, not particularly important. VE, quite important, and CE is really important. If you like to back late, then watch the break and watch the horse that has the cadence that flies off the handle, because that horse has absolutely put the hammer down. And if you think that up until that point, the VE has been reasonable, in other words, it's not wasted energy, then it's got the potential to keep that pace going through a higher cadence. That's what I would be looking for on that.